Trace, how did you react when you saw Holiday Bowl?
We're excited to go out there. I have friends and guys on the staff who've been out there, and they treat you extremely well. And great weather we'll have out there, and so be a big challenge. I know that Coach Leach, wherever he's been, has won an awful lot of games, and he's done the same thing with Washington State. So I think it's a great matchup and a great location.
For recruiting, do you think when you can tell kids, Citrus Bowl 2 years ago, this one this year, does that kind of help you guys?
Well, I think so. All the kids, they want to go to the best bowl they can. So for our season, what we've done, I think it's a very attractive bowl for us. And so the more you're successful, obviously, the better off that recruiting will be. And like I say, that we're going off of, we've talked to other staff who've been out there and how well they treat you, and the kids have a great experience. And anytime you have a great experience at a bowl game, all the kids get excited.
Do you look at this game as a reward for the season or for a jump start for next season?
I think both. The practices will be more for a jump start for next season. Part of the practices, we usually take 30 minutes each day and work just with the young kids, and then we go on to the bowl prep game, but next season will get here soon enough. And our seniors really have done a hell of a job this year. We've had a good year, and we haven't been able to win 9 games here since we've been here, and so it's a great challenge, be a good goal for them and a good way for them to go out. But it'll take awful good preparation to beat Washington State.
Coach, you and Coach Leach crossed paths at all in coaching careers?
Really haven't. Now Coach Poore has, so he's the one you'll want to interview. Is that they have Coach Poore's been a part of that coaching tree back when he was in small school in Iowa, and that. So Coach Poore has a background with those guys.
Tracy, anything you guys were able to do preparing for Detroit last year different than previous years that you might want to carry over?
Yeah, like I say, the young guys, not putting everybody in full pads all the time. We used to put everybody in full pads, and even though the older guys wouldn't hit much in that because you wanted to work the younger kids. So, kind of splitting that up into 2 practices. One's a 45-minute practice for the young kids, and then go ahead and do what you need to do then with the team that you plan on playing the bowl game and getting them ready. Because it's still, when you go play some of the better teams out of other conferences, you want to be as healthy as you can be. And so we're going to be smart with the practices and make sure we take our best team out there.
Coach, is there any sort of shift in team mentality from playing a bigger crash and bang style of football in the Big Ten than moving out and playing a Pac-12 opponent out west?
It'd be similar. We played Oregon State earlier this year, and they spread the field out on us, and it's a little different philosophy out there. But the good thing is it's a good matchup, and so it'd be interesting to see what happens. That's what's neat about bowl games. You get to play people that you don't normally play, and the contrast in styles, and you just see what happens.
What's your guys' history with recruiting California? Obviously, you got Drew, but it's not the place you go off too often.
Yeah, a lot of times, again, recruiting is about relationships and people on your staff who they have relationships with, and so we haven't had a lot of people with California ties, on our staff, and so it hasn't been a big recruiting area. Not that we don't check out kids and recruit a few like Drew and that when we get references and that, but it's not one of our main spots.
TCU the closest air raid comparison to Washington State?
Probably so. I would have to say, even though like say Mike has his own system. His last time, I haven't seen him this year, but where they play with really big splits in the offensive line, or they have in the past, and he does some things that are a little bit different, and has been extremely successful with him wherever he's been. And so his offensive philosophy has proven to work everywhere, and this year they've played really well on defense. I think that's one of the biggest differences is why they're where they're at, is because of the improvement they've made on the defensive side of the ball.
What did it mean to you to get a vote of confidence from Mark Coyle and your program?
It means everything. Is that whenever you have a new boss, that you don't know how they feel, or some of them they want to bring in their own person and that, and so I trust him and respect him an awful lot. Like I say, is that he chose to come back here, and that was important to a lot of us. We'd like to have somebody in place that's not looking for the next job necessarily, so to have somebody who wants to be here and he gives you your support, then that means a lot to all of us and lets us continue to keep building on what we have.